Hey everybody, it's Extra Stroker here at Lance's Performance Shop on StarMopars.com. Cooling off just a little bit, the 6 o'clock hour, but things are still hot in the shop. We're going through some Dark Gray Friday stuff from KC Tool, trying to get everything cleaned up, put up, and make way for some big changes in the shop. So what we've done now, I mentioned in the previous video, Dark Gray Friday. I didn't have anything in week 1. Week 2, you just saw us cash in. Week 3, kind of the same thing. There wasn't anything for me. But week 4, oh, that was a good one. And that's what we're going to throw down right now. Again, anytime you make an order from KC Tool, regardless if you spend $1,000 or 20 cents, you get a bit of thanks. They're currently shipping as a number 2 Phillips from Vera. Similarly, if you crest $75, you're going to receive free shipping. If you hit the $100 threshold, you no longer get the German Tool sticker pack, but the KC Tool mystery sticker. So let's go ahead and see what we've got here. Philo. Very cool. The yellow does pop and look very nice with the holographic stuff. So we'll set this off to the side, clear the desktop for our first item. And the first item, I will tell you right now, was not on Dark Gray Friday. But I do what I tell you to do. I check sales, I check clearance, I look for really good prices, and I got that. And you're thinking, what in the dinky hammer world is this thing? Very small head, very long, exaggerated handle. Well, this is the Hazet 1951-27. This thing was like, I don't remember if it was clearance or like some 50-60% off. It was $16. Okay, $16 and change, and I could not say no. Number one, I have nothing this small. There is practicality to this hammer, even though it is like comical in nature and looks like something you'd give a kid to hit their knees with or something. However, going back years, there was one of my favorite hammers ever. This thing here. It's like the first German hammer I got, but this cap is what I loved about it. This is a Gador, and sadly it's got red, even though Gador's colors would be blue, which would look way better. But that thing literally stays on the bench, and it literally almost always has that cap on it. I've since picked up some Picards and everything, so that's the OEM most likely. But there was like this killer deal on a Hazet hammer. It was a total misprint. You know, I never know, because every once in a while KC Tool does like the penny tool, and I'm like, oh, that's a joke. And it turns out it was real, and I'm like, dadgum. But there was like, I can't remember the details now, but it was like a Hazet iteration of that for dirt cheap. And they had to go in and email people, say, hey, you know, we can't honor that. It was a misprint. You know, we're sorry. Apparently some people were really salty about that. I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I figured something was going down. But, from that point on, I sort of looked at the Hazet hammers, right? And I'd seen these, granted in larger sizes, and I was like, man, you know, that's, and at the time, VHA, around this era, I don't know, like 2018 or something, they were pushing like an interchangeable head kit that had the like comical looking circus clown hammerheads. And this finally just sort of fell into my lap, and I wasn't going to say no. Again, if you can't tell, that says Germany. This thing is made in Germany. I don't know if this is Hazet in-house. I don't know if it's Halder. I don't know if it's Picard. If you have any idea, let me know. That could be someone else. I just wanted to try this thing. I don't know if these inserts screw on or not. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to stick with it. But it is a hard plastic. What do we have here? I guess this will be the best I have. Like, hopefully you can tell just from the sound, I'll get kind of more of a hit. Like I said, there have been times, not many, but there have been times where I'm like, man, I just wish I had a little hammer and then something soft and maybe non-marring, or something that's not going to just ramble, you know, the stud or the fastener, whatever you're trying to hit in that might be a little bit more delicate, like a fuel pump push rod. You don't just want to whale on the end of it, you know. Something like that is pretty sweet. So if you have this, if you have anything similar to it, it could be Vaughn, Estwing, to unknown brand, Harbor Freight, what do you do with it? How often do you use it? Just be honest. It could be like, well, you know, like maybe twice a year, but man, that thing's handy when I need it. Or it could be like, well, hey, I restore cuckoo clocks, and that's my go-to. All I know is this has been on my radar, and it was clearanced or something, and boom, it's here. I'm happy. I just like looking at it even. It is just funny and uplifting. So I'll leave it at that. And we will jump in now to a repeat offender. Just like with the Hazet Smart Holder, we picked that thing up for like $18 on Dark Gray Friday too. I told you, you know, if there's something that's just dirt cheap enough to justify buying it again, or having a spare, or moving another one to a different location, I'll do it. And that's exactly what I did here. This is from NWS. Their part number 138 69 200. Some of you are going to think, okay, 8-inch, what would that be? Is it like a pliers wrench, maybe? I could see KC Tool doing a pliers wrench on Dark Gray Friday. I'll kind of dangle it down. Like, okay, sci-fi grips, we know it's pliers now. It's nothing offbeat or anything. Some of you will instantly know this when I show it to you without my hand covering the business end. Again, probably the most unique handles. I mean, you're either going to like them or hate them. Maybe there's like, I don't really care. Philo, if you don't feel the red and silver, kind of has their own iteration. They are NWS made in Solingen, if you didn't know. That said, what do we have? You're like, okay, cool, side cutters. And you're like, oh, the Fantasticos. That's right, a German tool staple. KC Tool features these always as sort of like the go-to cutter from NWS. This adds a lot of leverage, sort of like a high leverage cutter. If you buy these on like Tool of the Day or get a deal, like they're usually 29 to 35-ish, okay? Dark Gray Friday 4 price, $17.99. I couldn't not get it, right? So here it is. Again, I've covered these before. If you really want to see a breakdown on them, I'd recommend German Tool Reviews. He compared some high-end cutters. These were available at the time. They look cool. I might take these to work. I'm currently, my main side cutters for like heavy stuff is the Knipex Twin Force. I also run like a larger pair of just regular side cutters. I could get a ton more use on like materials that are more taxing for regular side cutters. So there's a chance I will take these to work. They would be the first, first permanent NWS pliers in the roll cart at work. There are other NWS items, but this would be like the plier. So $18, that is a no-brainer. I'm sure many of you cashed in on that one, even if you got it as a spare, or you're like, hey, you know, I might prefer this pair of side cutters over that, but that is a killer deal. And I think a lot of you probably would have bought this for the first time. If that is the case, what do you think of it? How does it compare to what you had previously? Again, at $18, you really can't go wrong for a high leverage cutter. It's just money in the bank type of a thing. So we covered our non-Dark Gray Friday 4. We covered our kind of repeat offender from Dark Gray Friday number 4. I'm going to grab this. All right. This is something that was brand new at the time, and I pulled the trigger on it. I thought it was cool. I think there was also a promotion where you would get it a little bit cheaper. It came very nicely boxed. Some of you, seeing the box, probably know exactly what this is. This is a KC Tool Christmas ornament. That's right. Looks just like your shirts, hoodies, banners, everything nice and uniform. So if you have a shop tree, maybe you got like a small Charlie Brown style Christmas tree on your top hook or top of your toolbox at work. Maybe you've got like a little office area, you know, and you put out a work Christmas tree. This is the go-to. Similarly, this might be in your house, your apartment, your barn door, wherever you're living. You could hang it, you know, from your rear view mirror to just get in the holiday spirit. So I think I picked this up. Like I said, I kind of think it was a deal. And then fortunately, Collin also sent me one. So I actually did have 2 ornaments in different locations. It was pretty cool. So thanks for that. And moving on, we're going to jump into just a huge value deal. All right. This is something like, it's not a bad deal as is, but on Dark Gray Friday 4, I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. What is it? It is from brands we don't often cover frequently here, and it's sort of a German mashup, a compilation, a collaboration, if you will. It is Halder and Stabila, and it's a fantastic buy. All right, this thing right now, I just pulled it up, 126.20, and you're thinking like, that's not the best deal. Like, you get an Empire level and probably something similar to that for same or less money and have American made. Dark Gray Friday price was $65. Like, it was like, whoa. It was that type of a deal. I was like, dang. And I pulled the trigger. So what this essentially is, I know I can't fit it in the frame for you. This is a Halder Simplex stand-up mallet. That's a big deal for what I have planned for this thing. This is also the 60 millimeter head. All my stuff is significantly smaller than that. I have a decent assortment of Halder stuff. This is 60 millimeters, significantly larger, significantly heavier. It's going to come in at 54.32 ounces. The head diameter is 60 millimeter, 2.36 inches, something around there. You're going to have two different inserts. They're not going to be the same thing. This one right here, the funky one with feet. You're like, what is that thing doing? Insert one is a medium hard impact cushioning black rubber. This is a selling point for some of you, with a unique stand-up foot that allows the user to rest the hammer on its head for easy retrieval. That's right. Say you're doing like paving stones somewhere. Say that you're doing landscape work. Say that you have this in the backyard, to like hit the occasional nail in that you're not replacing with a screw, and you had an appropriate insert on the other side. That keeps you from having to bend all the way down. This stands up. This is fairly tall, all right? If I turn this sideways, like there's some length. This is a long hammer. This is significantly longer. The other benefit, you've got two heads in one. So the second insert, as issued, is a medium hard white super plastic. Well, that burgundy color there, that's going to tell us it's a cast iron head. That's where the head comes from. This is an acacia handle. So if you're not like into woodworking and exotic woodworking, maybe you, back in the day, you can deny it or accept it and admit it. Or you could even blame it on your kids. Acacia, you usually hear that with Minecraft. That's right, block by block, right? This would be great. If you had this in Minecraft, it'd be an excellent hammer for building block by block. But we're not done there. You get that thing. We also have this gem here, which is not level, as you can see looking down, because it's on top of a pair of NWS side cutters, although it's still pretty close. So what it is a Stabila Type 80 AS level, and it's 8 inches long. So 2 inches tall, 1 inch wide, aluminum. It's rectangular profile slot, reinforcing ribs, high strength, one plumb vial, and one level allows for quick readings in any position. There's also kind of a cool setup, high impact end caps. A lot of my levels don't have end caps, they're just sort of like the structure, so that could come in handy if I drop it. Certified accuracy in the top position, 1/32 of an inch across a span of 6 feet, 72 inches, kind of crazy. Level frame doubles as an outstanding straight edge. So if you're interested in this stuff, Halder does have other kind of cool combo sets, there's some with like some Bessie clamps. I'll let you explore, but this was like $65. Like, you'd almost pay that for the level, and you'd be thrilled to pay that, I think, for just the hammer. And to get both of them, I had to cash in, so that is exactly what I did. Currently, though, let's go ahead and crank it out. I may have to respond to some texts here in a second. For our convenience, they've got the English here. Again, I cannot fit this in the frame. Stand-up design, rubber super plastic, medium hard, ergonomic and back-friendly working. Again, it's not a big deal to bend down and pick up a hammer, but if you do that across a massive backyard fence, it kind of gets annoying, right? And you can't hang it on the fence all the time, just over the pegs. I guess with this foot you might be able to, but again, if you're building from virgin or building from scratch or doing repairs, you're going to have to then walk back and forth, and it's kind of a lazy feature, but a smart feature. Work smarter, not harder type of a thing, by the book. So black insert, again, is low impact, low wear, impact cushioning, and odorless. Man, I've got a new set of bands and an old, I keep breaking like the elastic bands you work out with. Scares the crap out of you every time. Like if you're doing face pulls or something or a tour, and that thing, like, you know, it's come grazingly close to slapping me in the face. Just last night I was trying to do some like weird, you know, like agility bicep thing, hip flexor combination deal, and holy smoses, I grabbed a broken blue band, and I was thinking, hey, you know, hey, this is going to be perfect for this now, and it'll provide more resistance for me. That thing immediately snapped. Like I started to curl and just ping. Both of them snapped like almost simultaneously. I think the fact they were split seconds apart saved me from getting slapped in the side of the head. But the story about that is, and my nephew had this issue with his like weight plates we got him for Christmas. Like those things reeked. Same like Rogue stuff I've had. I've kind of switched over to Fringe, just I like the colors and everything. But I don't know what it was, but some of those were like terrible. So with rubber, some of you that like home gym people that throw stall mats down, your wife comes in, girlfriend comes over, and she's like, God, what does that smell, Randy? It's your stall mats, you know. So odorless rubber, that's something that hits home. So this does not have a smell coming out of the box permeating to my nose. The white insert is more powerful and impactful force, and it's optimal for hardscaping and landscaping. So your wife wants a ring of stone around the tree, right? She wants a paver path. You want a path to go from the back porch to your shop without stepping in a soggy back lawn or, you know, dog crap or something. Boom. Something like this is perfect, especially at the steel of a price. Right here, again, that's kind of what we covered with that. So made in Germany. The box is actually really cool on this too. Again, I can't do it justice with my setup here, but they do a nice job. I mean, I've got to give them credit. It's an interesting thing. It's a logical pairing. It's not something you would probably want in the same box most of the time, but I'm going to assume they packed it well, you know. So I'll try to get you a look down the barrel. That's about the best I can do. I'm going to, hey, this will work out beautifully. Maybe. Oh boy. That's not what I expected to have happen, but they did a good job. It's thick cardboard. It's not like the self-deconstructing door stuff. So, I'll get that out of my life and into a trash can. Oh yeah, she is hefty. So, this again would be the hard face. They have a litany of inserts. If you like say, hey man, this one's perfect, I want that on the other side, you can do that. You could even orient it the opposite way and maybe hang it over a fence post type of a thing. This is heavy. I don't think it would pull it down. Look at the size of that face though. I mean, that is some significant contact area. Again, think of paving stones. Maybe you're old school and you're just like beating some railroad ties into the ground or down onto stakes, making like a retaining wall. Lots and lots of options here. This side, again, if I come in and do this, you get the idea, right? Hard plastic. Look at this contrast, right? Each hammer, wildly different, both with a purpose all their own. If I take this and stand it up, beautiful. The fact that this is so long, again, just about 19, 20 inches if I remember correctly, that's going to be awesome. You can bend down and it's just, for most people, going to be right below the kneecap, somewhere in there. Way better than going all the way down. So if you're unfamiliar with these, you loosen it, you change, whether you wear the insert or you're like, hey, I want copper on that side. You can do it. I thought, here we go. I did grab this. This is probably my most used Halder here at the house. It's a Simplex 40. This one is unique. It is a fiberglass handle. It's still a cast iron head. Blue on both sides. It's been good to me. If you have this, which I think is probably what most people would default to, not necessarily this one, but just like this size, look at this on the 40 series versus the 60 series. So you can see why I was thrilled to pick that monster up for $65, especially when it came with this. I think this is like my first fledged full-sized, or not full size, you know, like decking or something, but average person size level. Again, I'm not gonna lie, I am an Empire guy. They're blue, they're cheap, they're American made. They do have some foreign stuff, but you're usually gonna get the made in the USA ones, and you can get like a 2-pack for $12 sometimes. It's probably gone up. That's pre-inflation crud. But I think these are going to be fantastic levels. Here's the table I built years ago, and it is spot on. Thank you very kindly. So, same thing here. If we turn it to the side, you want to use this to like hang pictures at your girlfriend's house, or, you know, your KC tool ornament on the wall type of a thing. You can go this direction. Just a very, very, very nice setup. Again, the yellow and red. Stabila launched a, like, I can't remember if they call it black shadows. They look stupid cool. There was a promo where you got like a free holder and stuff. They're long levels. I don't have anything like that at the house. I've been rocking with like cheap stuff in my Empires. And sadly, everything I have is roughly like in this length range, you know, maybe slightly shorter, slightly longer than minis. The Stabila minis are fantastic. I do use those a lot. The yellow and red, sort of comical McDonald's, Ronald colors, you know, but stands out. I think with the green and the sun, you wouldn't have much issue if this was used outdoors. Just a really good deal. Again, the level alone, the hammer alone, I think you're basically approaching that threshold price-wise. $65, sign me up. Fantastic deal. I'll take it all day. That said, we are not done. We have one more item, which was an equally great deal. However, I've got to grab it, and I need to respond to some text messages here. So give me a second. We will be right back. Alright, so I've gotten everything responded to, I think, that I need to, and I've grabbed what I needed to show you. But as I pulled it out of the box it has been so patiently waiting in, I was reminded the reason the box fitted so well, it was shipped separately. And I guess this stuff was in, and that was like back ordered in part. There's the response we're looking for. Probably because so many people cashed in on this. But the good news for you, since I guess it did ship separately and we waited a while, got another bit of thanks and another mystery sticker. So, just earlier in this video, we uncovered the NWS. Let's see what we get here. Berger. Alright, we can work with that one. And again, I will kind of update you on the set completion. It's somewhere over there. But what did we do, you ask? This is something, I just pulled up the current price, not sure what it was at the time, I know it was a really good deal. This was something that would be $110 off if they were to offer the same price. You're thinking like 110 off, well, what is it, like $1,000 Hazet bit set or something, you know, like, not be that great of a deal. This is a item from Stahlwille. Current price would be $294, but we'll just call it $295. Dark Gray Friday price, do the math, $295 minus $110. Is that $185? I believe it is. And oh yeah, we have a very large, not near as heavy as you would think it would be for the heft, wrench roll from Stahlwille. Sadly, it's sort of the updated logo. I love me some green. That Stahlwille logo that we came to know on the channel, I get this one is, I'll give them credit, you know, it's like more modern looking and streamlined and sleek and stealthy, but I just so like that green and white. It's like classic, iconic. It's honestly what I will forever associate with the brand. I'm sure that's not what they want to hear from like people like me an ocean away buying their stuff, but I do like this. I just, man, that green and white was like, that was Stahlwille. They were the green, you know, you sort of just knew that. However, if any of you caught what was on the back here, it is part number 96401005, or you can just play it simple and search 1417. Think like, okay, well, how did Stahlwille do this? This guy always complained about the 13 and the 14 and the numbers and everything. You're right, I do, because it's kind of confusing. And to highlight that, I have this, a Stahlwille wrench. And you're like, wait, that's right. You went Stahlwille crazy. And I remember you would wrench by wrench, just like you do with the sockets, until you completed the sets to your liking, didn't you? And that's pretty much accurate. This is an open box 13. And you're thinking okay, so it's a open box and 13 millimeter, right? Yeah, but the problem is this 13 is describing the series of wrench. Open box 13. And you're like, well, no, it's 13 millimeter, isn't it? It totally is. The 13 is here. Okay, that's your size for open end and box end. I could go grab a 12, an 11, a 10, a 9, an 8, a 7, a 6, a 14, 17, 19, whatever, and they're all going to say open box 13 on them. Just basically my only complaint on that entire series. If I come back over here, what do we see? We see open box 14. You're thinking open box 14. So where this says 13, this one's going to say 14. That's basically right. Some of you might remember, sort of like with Koken, sort of like with Stahlwille, many brands do this, the slash next number, which in this case is 17, 14, 17. One of those is the set contents. If I just told you that this open box 13 is now going to become open box 14, does that mean this is a 17-piece wrench set? Yes, it does. That is a very large, very encompassing set. It's also very large because it is open box 14. I'm gonna roll this sucker out. Man, there's a lot of real estate. This will also 100% not fit in the frame of the camera. This is something I kind of didn't think I would have happen. Okay, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But I'm going to grab this right now. And you're thinking okay, you pulled one random wrench out to show us it is a 14 millimeter. Cool. And you come over here and you see open box 14. So I'm going to put this back. I just wanted to highlight that so you kind of follow along with the madness. I'm going to grab this. Zoomed in, you can't really see much, can you? But we need to stay that way. This is an open box 14. You're like, yeah, we kind of figured. But what does that say? 13 millimeter. I'm going to roll this up some so I can get this other wrench out, and I'm going to grab it. And you can see I've got two 13 millimeter Stahlwille wrenches. And if you read along, top one open box 14, bottom one open box 13. Well, what's the difference? They look identical, don't they? That's the difference. Two things. One, you can see the first obvious thing is the OAL, the length. From this open end to the end of this boxed end, this thing is longer than this one. Both 13 millimeter. That's series 14. The other thing, when I turn this off to the side and I turn this off to the side, look at the offset. This one is kind of traditional. This one sort of deviates from that, right? So that is what the open box 14 is. It is a longer pattern, and to spice it up a little bit more for you, Stahlwille is going to give you the unique angle on the end of the wrench. Some of you might recall we had walked into a killer deal on a competitor's wrench, and also from Germany. It is the 600 LG from Hazet. This is a 13 millimeter wrench. This is Hazet's 600 LG. If I compare that to the Stahlwille, look what we've got. This dwarfs the Series 14 more than the Stahlwille Open Box 14 dwarfs their 13. I am legitimately torn on what to do here. Again, I kind of thought I'm heavily invested in Stahlwille wrenches. I love them. I don't care what people's reviews and torture tests say. I use things in the real world and don't put jack handles on the end of my wrench to turn a 10 millimeter bolt, okay? So, or a 3/8 bolt, type of a thing. This is something that when used accordingly, it's a fantastic wrench. They're lightweight. They're comfortable in hand. They're very thin on the ends, particularly those. They're great. I have nothing bad to say. They're priced even reasonably. My favorite wrench of all time, Proto Challenger 500. These are great. I really like the right grips. I've run into an issue at work. Okay, I have rights there. I like having 2 sets of wrenches, okay, especially when I know what I'm doing and what I'm going to work on 90% of the time. And I like to have the backer wrench and the fronter wrench, right? Whether it's ratcheting, whether they're both standard because I can't fit a socket and ratchet, whatever. I like to have 2 sets of wrenches. So I've got the right grips, and I went with the Mac Precision Torques on your recommendation. Those are kind of weird. They take some getting used to. I kind of like them now. I bought a set here for the house. Mac, for whatever reason, despite having it all these years, has kind of like seemingly phased out the Precision Torque. Yes, you can get them in other brands, but I kind of wanted the Precision Torques in a green holder to go with my color coordinating system, so it's easy to find, locate, tell someone what to grab or look for something at work. And I was just going to do that, right? And I thought, they're kind of longer pattern. I'll just do that. I can get them pretty cheap from my dealer. And he's never gotten them back in. And they've gone to the RBRT. I don't want RBRT. I want like a standard regular old wrench, okay? RBRT, great in some circumstances, not all. This opens the door to me to potentially, because you got to realize right now at work, my metric wrench set consists of pliers, wrenches, and pliers, right? Like I'm a little 8-year-old again working on my bike with a pair of pliers, slip joint, no-name pliers. I do SAE every once in a while. Something weird comes in, or like a machine is like new enough to have been metric, or like the trucks and everything are being metric. I legit at work, I do not have, unless I bring them, like if I'm like, oh crud, I need, blah, blah, I come home, grab it. But I don't have like a default go-to metric wrench set. Everything I do, like in production, it's SAE. I don't need metric in my life. I don't need to spend the money. Some very odds and ends I run into, and then like the modern vehicles are killing it. The forklifts requiring more work, it's metric. It would be nice to have those Mac Precision Torques in the green holder. However, I have these now. Okay. I kind of liked the idea of having the regular Stahlwilles, the really long Hazets, and I can kind of use them and contrast them and be like, Stahlwille is really comfortable, but I like the Hazets. This comes with like years of usage before I commit to something like that. This would be awesome. The aesthetics of having all Stahlwille in one drawer, like, oh man, 13, 14, open end, offset, everything, you just go to town. That's super cool too. I am torn on whether I should take the Hazets to work, and like, especially if I can't get the Precision Torques. Because again, I can get those relatively cheap now. Hopefully my dealer can like score some, or get information at Tool Fair, or buy some off a guy that has a crud ton and he doesn't want them anymore, or something hopefully happens. But I'm kind of torn here, because I could take this exact 14-17 set that I got for a steal, 185. It's 6-22. Like, that's pretty comprehensive, for metric, especially like machines. If I ever did get like newer machines that required frequent servicing or something, like that would cover me, outside of like really large stuff, which I could easily expand to. I almost think I'd prefer to take the Stahlwilles and have the Hazets here at the house, but I'm not sure. And again, a lot of that's going to hinge on the Precision Torque story. So this was kind of like not something I had to buy, because again, I was like, okay, these Hazets are pretty cool. Gonna have those as like my long pattern wrenches, And if you're thinking like, I thought you had some, open box 14s, I did. I like picked up one to compare and contrast and see what the difference was. That's where you're thinking of that one. If Stabila offered the open box 14 in SAE, I would have bought those a long time ago. These Hazets were so good when they came in. If the 600 LG was offered in SAE sizes, I would have been monitoring those for a sale of some sort and brought them in. Neither company does that. Okay, this is where you get into some funky stuff. Lance has things he wants to do, but the companies don't produce said product, So I'm legitimately torn. It kind of makes sense to have the super comprehensive 6-22 at work. They're thinner, and longer than, average, and then I can complement that with like some cheap icon stuff. And then if I get like a ton of metric crud in, well, okay, hey, let me get some better quality stuff in, or something that'll hold up a little bit. I really don't know what I'm going to do, but I did know when I bought this The 184.99 was a stupid good deal, and I would regret if I didn't purchase this. So whether this becomes like a complimentary jewelry piece here, which I very well might wind up using them more than the 13s. It just kind of depends on space constraints, really. I would always prefer a longer wrench for leverage, but sometimes, like, you don't have the space. I'm under the vehicle, or I'm working to the side of something, and the rocker is there. You know, there's a leaf spring, and it's like, well, okay, this is idiotic. I could turn that short wrench a heck of a lot more. That's the stuff I have to figure out. But this set is absolutely nuts at 185. They just did, I think, the same set yesterday on Tool of the Day, or maybe an even bigger iteration. But this thing literally, I know you can't see it all the way over here, but 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, they did skip. No. There is a 20. So 20, 21, 22. I could scrap that and like slide everything over and get a 24. 27, 32. That's probably like the next steps up. We're almost like to that point of this could be your forever metric set. Would I ever need like a 4.5? I don't know. Would I need it in a long pattern? You figure it out. But good grief. Like this was a deal. The Halder Stabila combo was a deal. Dark Gray Friday. It was some great times there. People will talk about it for years to come. But if you have any thoughts on that, let me know. Again, especially if they are phasing them out and my guy can get them, I could potentially get those precision torques like really cheap. And then the beautiful thing there is I was thinking I can warrant them super easy, but if they're phased out, I don't want them replaced with an RBRT, and I don't envision Mac Man giving me a knuckle saver to replace my 13 millimeter that's stripped out or something. I don't know. I have no clue. I'll have to figure some stuff out, but yeah, this was a great deal. With that said, it's getting cold in here. I'm going to get the door down. Yes, it was warm enough to have the door and some fresh air in here, but I'm going to take this in, get the battery charged up, try to get back out here. But what a great haul, man. I hope you enjoyed. I want to know, what did you pick up on Dark Gray Friday number 4? Did you snag this set? What are you doing with it? Is it your first time with Stahlwille wrenches? How do you like them? Do you wish you had shorter regular wrenches? Do you like the offset? Do you like the length? Do you already have Hazet 600 LGs and you're like, man, I kind of like those better? Do they not compete with your Snap-on or your old Matcos or whatever? Tell people. That's your time to shine. That's what we try to do here, is help people out. Again, these are killer deals, Tool of the Day, Black Friday, liquidation, crazy things is when you see prices like this. That's the only downside if you watch this and you want to pull the trigger. I will tell you, many of the Stahlwille wrenches sets I've built have been piece by piece because it came out cheaper, especially if you don't care about the wrench roll. When you factor that in, like, it's economically to your advantage to go piece by piece. So if you're never going to use the 9, you're not going to use an 11 because you have a 7/16 you'll slot in from a duplicate set, and you're never going to use a 20, you can save even more money versus this, right? If you never use a 6, get it out, save the money. But be aware of that, and I want to know what else you picked up, because again, I'm sure you got some great deals on this. If you picked up the Halder, have you used it? Is it just like, you know what, if I ever have to do that big project my wife wants done, that'd come in handy? Let me know. What do you think of the cute little Hazets, right? You can almost use cute with that and not feel bad, because what else would you call it? Comically small? Maybe we'll go that route. But yeah, this was a great deal across the board. Again, this was, I say I won't use this much, but when you use it, like, you need something this size over the 40. It's just that big of a difference. The price point was a no-brainer. This will probably see quite a bit of use. I do, being kind of metal-based guy, wish it was magnetic, but I guess I could kind of keep it for wood or interior framing stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I think we did pretty good here. And again, I might take these to work too. I've picked these up really cheap over the years. Again, it's just one of those things, like, it's, when you see it sub $20, you kind of just like, ugh, better grab that just in case. And that's what we did here. But yeah, You know the drill. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, if you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. If you do that, you ring the bell, you jump your Charger across the creek while wielding your Stahlwille 1417 open box set with your Halder stand-up mallet, complete with your Stabila Level to gauge how accurate you nailed the jump as soon as you land. YouTube just might notify you we got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more from the shop.